What is up, you guys? The Fallout What If here. Today I'm doing the What If. What if Deku was the God of War? Well, what if Deku was the reincarnation of the God of War? It's a new part to it, so hopefully you like it. And I couldn't do the video a couple of days ago because I had a lot of work, and my sister came back home and talked to us. So it was more, I had to focus a little bit more about family and stuff. I made time to understand how to do the video, and actually, we're actually going to be talking about this little child right here. She's a bit of a wild child and a little, bloody and stuff, but we're going to talk about her since I have three people in mind that I want to have as a ship, and nobody's gonna take that away from me. So here we go. We start off at 3 months later during the whole incident with Deku, and then not only that, finding out he was the God of War. Now, Deku has been doing push-ups and sit-ups, and he's been training and understanding how to fight, because Kratos is there in his mind telling him to keep pushing forward. When he was young, he did twice as many as he did right now, which isn't actually true. He's actually doing a steady amount, but he wants him to progress and to be better than he wants Deku to be better than he is. Kratos also tells him that he is going to be needing more power if he wants to protect the world, because as far as he can tell, this world is much more peaceful. Sure, it has bad guys in it, but to him, it isn't as bad as he had thought. He's telling him to train so that way nobody can actually cause wars. Nobody could become violent enough to overthrow a city. He doesn't want the world to be in chaos like it once was in his world. And by any means necessary, he is going to step in and stop these people, whether he likes it or not. Deku understands his situation, and he makes it a priority to keep training. Not only that, he makes sure that he trains to his fullest, and a week goes by, and Deku does feel better and more stronger, but he's still, I don't know what the word to say is. I believe that he is more wiser, if anything, because Deku, he knows that right at this moment, there's a new child. There's a new child, not a nude one, not naked. I mean new. There's a new kid in town. That's what I meant. Now, Deku meets this new person, and people know her already, but Deku doesn't. And the reason why is because he's been training himself. And over that time, Deku actually talks to this girl. And she says, "Hi, my name is Himiko. We never met." And Deku says, "Hi, my name is Izuku." And this is when Deku, is talking to her, saying, "Who are you? And I've never met you around here. And not only that, why do you have, red stuff on your face?" Toga talks to him and saying, "Wow, you're actually talking to me. It's weird, but what is your blood type?" And Deku says, "Excuse me?" She says, "What is your blood type?" I have a thing for blood." And this is when Deku hears Kratos in his head. She has a thing for blood. I think she's a good woman. And this is when Deku says, "Hey, me from another world. Just shush. I don't want to hear this from you. Deku says, you're talking about, like, my blood. I don't know what my blood is. I just know it's blood. This is when Toga says, can I drink it? And Deku says, wait, what? And Deku has never met Toga, but Toga actually was there a month ago. You see, Deku was preoccupied with talking to his other self, that he hasn't actually talked to the rest of the kids. No, the rest of the kids adore Deku. They like him now. They think he's a really good man or child. But that whole thing with the God of War, Deku has to understand who he is. He has to understand who he is as a person, as a human being. Not only that, as a god. Deku is talking to Kratos, saying, I never talked to this girl. And he says, do not be shy around her. There's no need for distancing yourself with a child. She has done nothing wrong. And if she has, then we will stop her. And Deku says, I know that, but it's just weird. I guess I never noticed her. And this is when Kratos says, yes, you were training under me. This would be my fault if I felt any shame about if I actually felt guilty about it. This is when Deku says, wow, way to help me out. And this is when Kratos says, no problem. This is when he's like, oh boy, okay, Toga? Give me a second here. Now, anyway, Deku has talked to Toga, and he's asked her before, like, why is she here? Now, she explains why, which makes Deku upset, but he understands. She was different. She was the firstborn, and they just threw her away like that. Deku understands what she's going through, even though he himself hasn't gone through it. Even Kratos has gone through it, but he thinks of himself as an extension of Kratos, and vice versa. In a way or so, but Deku says, why don't you become my family? And she says, what do you mean? And Deku says, I am not all there. I am a different person that you would not know. If I told you who I am, you wouldn't believe me. This is when Toga says, wait a minute, what do you mean by that? And Deku says, alright, let me tell you this right now. I'll get somebody that I know who can trust me. And he brings just a regular child. And he says, you said you consume blood, right? And this is when the kid says, wait a minute, what are you going to do? And Deku says, trust me, I wouldn't do this unless I had complete faith in... I wouldn't do this unless I have complete faith in myself. And the kid, basically the kid's like, but are you sure that's alright? I mean, she eats blood. And Deku says, yes, she does it because it's a part of her. Hey, what is this a part of your, do you just like blood just to drink it? And she says, oh no, it's a part of my quirk, but it does taste good. And this is when the guy says, she's a vampire. And Deku says, that's not right. She may be a little vampire, but right now she's still just a little girl. I want to test something out. If you do, I'll give you my pudding. And pudding is a delicacy for a child. So he was like, alright then. You can bite you, take a nibble, take a bite out of me. I am doing this for pudding. So Toga does by biting him, and even though he's scared, it's still pudding. Deku is saying, "All right, thank you, Toga. How do you feel?" And she says, "Well, this tastes different, but it's good. It's not bad, but it's not good at all. But still, thank you." And the kid says, "All right, so when am I going to get the pudding?" And Deku says, "At lunchtime." Now, Deku says, "Here, try mine." And this is when Toga, upon tasting even a sip of it, she feels energy flowing through her. And she's breathing a little bit more heavily. And she says, "What is this? This tastes so good. It's sweet, yet spicy, yet sour. It's so rich." And this is when Deku says, "I am a god." Well, by technicality, I was a god. Although, now that I'm in a new body and such, there's a lot of things that you don't understand, but I want you to be a part of my family. Toga says, "You want me to be a part of your family? You're not at all scared of me?" And Deku says, "Why would I be scared of you? It's not that big of a deal. Sure, right now it's terrifying to kids, but they don't know who you are. They don't know the true beauty in your ability. Maybe drinking blood is probably something that will make you powerful." And this is when Deku says, "So please, join me." And he extends his hand towards her, and she's a little scared at first. And Deku says, "It's all right. I understand you don't trust me at the moment. I would be scared too if I was, pushed away by everybody and nobody wanted to talk to me. So just know this. Anytime you want to drink my blood, I will happily give it to you." And she says, "All right, I'll join you." And Deku says, "On one condition. You can't drink all of my blood, or give me a little bit of my blood. I have to at least have enough to make sure that I get strong." And Toga says, "Alright." Now, Deku basically walks around, talks to her, and they become good friends over time. Not only that, they met Ashido and Katsuki. And the four of them became good buddies. They became the bestest of friends. Bakugo, on the other hand, wasn't all enthusiastic about him. "Oh, hey, it's pretty much a nobody we don't know about or care about. So it's not a big deal for me." There has been a time where they tried to take Toga because they thought her ability may be something rare. Because it's a blood ability. Not a lot of people have that, as far as I know. Don't quote me on this, people, but either way, there was a time Deku had to defend her. And Deku fought with all of his might before, by running away, by having other kids stand up to them. But there was a big dude. Give me a second here. Now, this is a muscular man. If you guys thought I was going to say muscular, believe me, as much as I would have wanted to, he has his own role to serve. Now, during this whole time, he saw this big man. And Deku says, "Oh boy, I don't know if I can defeat him." And this is when Kratos says, "Have faith in yourself. You understand, I did not die just so I can have my reincarnation to be backing down so close to a fight, even before it began. No. Like I said, hold yourself up high and make sure that they see how strong you are and that you're not willing to back down. And Deku said, Alright. I'm just very scared. Kratos says, I understand. This is your first actual fight. It didn't spring up at a moment's notice. You're ready to understand the consequences of failure. Death is not an option. Win. And Deku starts to breathe heavily. Kratos says, I will give you your strength. The strength that you've earned. And Deku feels it in his core. Feels it in his arms, his legs. Even his eyes feel like they're about to explode. But it remains calm. Deku looking at the lizard man saying, do you really think that some flashy light show is going to help you? And Deku says, it doesn't matter. As long as I get to destroy you and protect her. Toga, get behind me. Toga's scared, saying, we're not going to win. You might as well save yourself. They're after me only. I can defend myself. I know that they're going to, hurt me, but as long as you get to live. And Deku says, I said get behind me. Deku, I can't let you, die. And Deku says, I'm not going to die. And the kids see this. Because even though there's people that usually look around, Deku knows that this is the orphanage, and this is kind of like in a bad part of town. So Deku knows that no cops are going to just automatically come here. So he's going to have to fight. And he says, hey, you. And it's the same kid as before. And Deku says, I need your help. And he says, I can't find him. I don't care how many cups of pudding you're going to give me. He says, and Deku says, no. Give me my weapon. And Deku and the kid says, I just have to get that. And Deku says, it's only what you have to do. Believe me, I'm not going to force you to fight anybody. All I just need you to do is bring me that axe. Deku has actually been making a weapon from that same piece of metal, Like, he's been making a weapon out of the materials that he has, out of a wooden baseball bat, or at least a baseball bat that's been cut, and also out of that metal that was about to burn him. He decided to have that, and even though it's not like the axe, it's still something dangerous. The kids aren't allowed to have anything like that, but Deku, knowing him, he's going to hide it in cases of emergency. But he does have a little sharp knife that he's picked up from before. Well, it was from that crazy lady, but it's better than not having anything. Deku saying, I'm not going to lose to you, and just starts running towards the man. And this is when he picks up the knife and actually throws it at him. The man caught off guard, saying, what? Actually blocking his face. Deku grabs his leg and starts biting the crap out of it. Now, the guy punches Deku but he has something on him, which is a book. It may not be a thick book, but it's a book nonetheless. It's been under his shirt the whole time, because he actually likes reading. So, he has a book, and he gets punched. And Deku sees the book, and he realizes that this has a couple of punctures on it, and it was actually strong enough to actually pierce it. Deku's saying that this thing is not going to work. Pretty much throws away the book, and the man is going to punch at him. And Deku, every time he punches Deku grabs either him and bites him, or Deku actually punches the arm or the leg, whatever it's being thrown at him, so that way it could lose its weakness. You see, Deku, even though he hasn't fought before, he's remembering one thing, is that everybody has a weakness, no matter how strong they think they are. There's always a weakness to anything, if you look hard enough. And Deku, getting ready to actually punch him, actually trips on something, and the man basically punches him straight into the freaking air. Deku is actually on the air, looking around, saying that this is exhilarating. Deku being grabbed by the man. This is when the kids are all scared. And where's the woman? Where's the person that's supposed to take care of them? Well, she's out to do some stuff right now. Although she's not doing anything bad, her and the rest of the people are actually there, or actually like going somewhere to give them to actually make a little celebration, because a couple of kids are gonna get adopted. So yeah, Deku was actually hurt, so he's on the ground, and this is when the lizard man steps on him, saying, "Do you give up?" And Deku says, "No, I'm not giving up." This is when he squeezes Deku pretty hard. And Deku's trying to hold him and trying to push him off of him. But it's because Deku is still not as strong as he hoped to be. That's actually that's his actual weakness. But at a surprise turn of events, Deku does grab his toe, at least one of them, and at least with all of his might, pulls it into a different direction, causing the man to be, in pain, moving away from Deku. Deku realizing that he's actually weakened right now, to a huge degree. Not only that, he just got stepped on by somebody, so of course Deku's weak. Deku says, "What's taking him so long?" The guy barely found it, so now he's running down the stairs and into the hallways, and while this is going on, the man says, "Alright, I didn't want to kill any kids today, but you leave me with no other choice. Prepare to die." And his hands have claws on them that become a little bit more longer and sharper. Deku, knowing that he's going to die, or at least is going to have serious injuries on him, says, "I don't care if I'm going to die, but you will not hurt her, and you won't take her away from us, because she's my family." And the lizard man, laughing and laughing and laughing, says, "Really? She's family? That is the most funniest thing that I've heard in a while. Look at you all, in an orphanage, and thinking that you have a shred of hope. Listen here, kid. The world's not going to help you. You're not what they wanted. So it's best if you just give up." And Deku says, "No, I don't give up." And his tattoo that he made, he actually had somebody start poking holes at him, because he knows how tattooing was back then. So he made himself a couple of tattoos on his face, At least his face that has the insignia of the God of War. It's not the God of War insignia, but it's something nonetheless. And this is when the kid brings him his axe. Now, it's small enough for a child, and it's basically a one-handed axe for any adult. But Deku remembers his training, and he remembers fighting Draugr, trolls, ancients, Valkyries, Baldur, Odin. If he can handle even the gods himself, even if he can handle the winged knights of Valhalla, the warriors of Valhalla, and even handle people that can steal your soul, he's faced the gods before. He's not going to fail again, or he's not going to lose to somebody who's not even as powerful as they are. And Deku just gets ready and starts to breathe heavily. This is when he starts saying a couple of words, and his axe starts to shine. Not ice, but fire. He made himself the fire axe. Now, it's not going to be used besides probably part 1 to part the next part, because he's going to get something better. But it's better than nothing. I suppose that this is the one thing he's going to get. So, Deku starts burning having the axe being flames, and he starts running towards him. The man says, "It doesn't matter whether you have fire. You could have all the fire you want, but it's not going to do a thing if it's against me." And this is when Deku says, "Alright, we'll see about that." And he actually goes and ducks under the guy's attack that was about to hit him, and slams it so hard onto the shin of this creature that he basically is on the ground, crying out in pain. Deku, seeing Toga, seeing that he's made a friend out of her, she cares about him. Deku does not allow people to hurt his friends. And this is when he slams his axe towards the guy's chest. The guy screaming out in pain, saying, "Please spare me." And Deku saying, "Really? You want me to spare you after you spat out about killing?" This is when he says, "You're a bastard. You're a bastard. Nobody's ever going to love you." And Deku says, "You're right. But I'm the bastard that killed you." And he slams his axe so hard onto the ground instead of his head. This is when the guy actually knocks out from being shocked. He says, "It doesn't matter to me whether you're big or you're small. Anybody that tries to fight the people, try to take away the people I care about, is not going to win." Now, Deku is basically telling him to call the police. And Deku saved Toga. Be it he's pretty much knocked out for 5 days. You see, even though he's handled it, he made a fire axe, which took a lot of his god abilities out of commission. It basically made it to where Deku was so overwhelmed with that power that he had that he didn't actually control it. Kratos, on the other hand, was smiling, saying that he never even he never actually reached the peak of godhood until he became a Spartan general and made the deal with Ares. This is when he thinks, this kid is going to be the most strongest god of war I've seen. Hopefully he doesn't have any kids, because these kids will be legendary. Now, Deku saying, "Toga, are you okay?" Toga hugs him and says, "Don't ever worry me like that again, because 5 days has passed, And Deku is in the hospital, or not in the hospital, in the bed. And he's pretty much sleeping. When he woke up, Toga saw him. So that's when it all happened. But Deku says, I wonder who which two kids are actually going going to meet their parents. This is when Toga says, oh, right, I forgot to tell you. I'm one of those kids. And Deku says, wait, what? Oh, that's great. I'm happy for you. Deku is kind of bummed. He's kind of sad because the person he cared about is gonna leave. And Deku is just wondering to himself, at least she's okay. He just wishes that he was there. He's there with her. But he's not going to tell her that because he believes that she should be happy. So he just smiles and says, alright. And Deku is just sad. This is when he says, who's the other kid? And she says, with a smile, she says, his name, I forgot his name, but I'll tell you what he looks like. And Deku says, oh, alright, I guess that'll be helpful. He has a weird personality. Deku says, alright. I don't know anything about that, but okay, is there anything else? He doesn't like pudding. And Deku says, oh wow, this person's kind of like me. I'm not that much fond of pudding as well. This is when Toga says, oh yeah, not only that, he's very strong. And Deku says, wow, I never knew that there was another one around here. And he also has green hair. And he's like, well, I don't know about, wait a minute here. Who is, it sounds like you know his name. And Toga says, oh really, I didn't know about that. And this is when Deku says, alright, so who's his name? And Toga says, his name starts with an I and ends with a U. And Deku is like, Izuku? And she says, yes, how'd you know? He says, wait, are you serious? And she's like, yeah, me and you are getting adopted. And he's like, by who? This is when he wakes. This is when he gets up and actually is walking and seeing that there's two people, three if you count a girl with pink hair. This is when they all see a surprise, and Mitsuki is there, basically on one knee, saying, Izuku, my name is Mitsuki Bakugo. I've known your mother for so long. Me and her were very dear friends. I didn't know about you. Me and her didn't have contact with each other at the time. But now that you're here, I can tell you in front of your face that I could say that you are going to be living with me. And Deku says, but my friend Toga, I can't just leave her. And this is when Bakugo Katsuki, not Bakugo Katsuki, because Bakugo didn't bother at all, because he's not a big fan of him. It's not because he hates him, it's just because he's weird. Like, think about it, he has like a red thing on his head, on his face, and not only that, he's usually exercising when he should be out playing games. Not only that, he's quiet, and he's just speaking in weird tongues at times. So, Deku is saying, wait, so what about Toga? I don't want to leave her. And Katsuki and Katsuki says, oh yeah, I forgot to mention, we're adopting her too. We're going to be a big happy family. And Deku is saying, hold on, you mean she's going to be my... Well, I guess she is my sister already, so... It's like, at least I'll be your sister too. I'll be your brother now. And Katsuki is like, yeah, brother. Deku, after that, talks to him, or talks to Mitsuki and saying, but do you think the rest of them will ever... This is when he sees all the kids. All of them that he's helped out, that he's at least friended before, that that liked him because he helped them out. They're pretty much tearing up. And Deku started to understand and realize what he truly meant to them. What made him who he was. It was something that Deku cried. And he sniffed and cried a bit. Katsuki cried a bit, and Toga cried as well, because it's like, it's a big blubbering festival over here. Deku says, everyone, raise your head up high. You shouldn't worry about me anymore. You are all strong. I believe in all of you. You are my dear friends. And I'm glad that I met you. Hopefully we will meet in the future. And this is when Deku says, I'm ready to go now. It's best that I ended off at that note. And after that, Deku has a family now. A real one, at least. Not only that, Deku spends 4 to 8 years. So this is now when he's 13. And he's already pretty much talking to the rest of the kids. And now he's in middle school, about to go to high school. And over those years, Deku has trained. For some reason, he can't access his weapons. And all he's been using is that axe that he's made. Now, I'm going to end it off here. Because I know that you guys wanted this, and I'll let you all have your fun. But anyway, I said this once, and I'll say it again. Like, comment, do subscribe to the channel here, people. This has been the Fallout. What if you're here? Bye.